She is. Yeah.
But that's cool.
Yeah.
So
I did want to. So there was something that when you were talking before, there's something that just kept screaming at me. It was your response when he was saying, "I got to go. I got to take this gig," and you were like, "You need to commit yourself to the plans that you had already said yes to."
Uh-huh.
That kept screaming at me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that response, it's a very mature response.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it might have come from a place of where you might have seen where things like that were very inconsistent.
Yeah, it's probably a lack of not ever seeing that.
Of not,
So
right.
wanting that.
Yeah.
and
longing
you had a
for that.
standard.
That commitment
Yeah.
that, if your word needs to mean something,
Yeah.
and that kept screaming at me because it's not very common you'd be surprised how there's a lot of people that will just be like, okay, go, but we're done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that will
No, yeah,
that
they
will be
don't
straight
take
up
care.
like
Yeah,
that.
they don't deal with any of it.
They don't deal with it, but you
Yeah.
chose to be like, but you chose to say, I understand your feelings are valid, but you committed yourself to these plans and you
Yeah.
need to see them through.
Yeah.
And I think that response usually stems from a place of like, you've seen it and you're like, nah,
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point.
You
That
know,
could
and
be.
so
No,
I
that was
just,
very much a thing with, I'll be there. I'll be
Mm.
at this birthday party. I'll be at your graduation.
Yeah.
I'll be
Mhm.
at this. I'll be at that. And I'm like, I don't even care anymore.
yeah,
Because
for
I know
sure.
you're not going to be there. So
For
it really
sure.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
But yeah.
But I think a beautiful thing is, it has shaped you for your future or for your marriage, right?
Yeah.
And for the standard that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
Of
'Cause I-
like,
yeah.
I'm going to be married to someone that keeps his commitments.
Yeah.
So it's like the Lord used it for good, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's pretty
Yo,
cool.
that was deep.
That's-
Because
We
I
never
think
really
it can
thought of
go
it that way.
two
Yeah.
ways of like, or coming from like a broken home of like, I don't know my worth and still never knowing their worth and I don't know, ending up with the wrong guys over and over and over in that horrible
Absolutely.
cycle. So I'm so grateful that God
yeah.
showed me who I was in Him from the moment I was
That's dope.
young. Because then I'm like, no, I don't. Even though we've gone through a lot,
right.
at the core, I'm like, if it ever got to this point, I'm out. So I feel like God was definitely walking.
You
through-
hear that?
Walking
Do you hear
through.
that?
It's like
Because there was a time where I was like,
No,
either
yeah,
you're
for
in or
sure.
you're out, but I gotta go. I'm not
Yeah.
doing this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely was. I definitely gave a lot of grace, probably way too much grace, but
Yeah.
I was very forgiving for a lot just because of the grace that God has shown me.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like it definitely could go two ways, and I'm
Yeah.
thankful that God's kept me by
it went
His
the
side.
one.
Yeah, of like knowing,
One
like
way.
yeah,
Yeah. Because like
For
I
sure.
said, like that's a very mature response. Like that's
Mhm.
not to me, in my experience, it's not a very common response.
Yeah.
And I come from a very dysfunctional family,
hmm
and sometimes if somebody in my family told me I'm gonna do this for you and never came through,
hmm
like their word means absolutely nothing to
yeah,
me,
Right.
yeah,
especially as a child,
Yeah.
right? So
And
it's
that's
like
a sad place to be.
and-
You don't
and-
want to be there.
no,
you know?
absolutely not. But it's just, I think it's the reality of life that, like I remember as a kid when my dad would promise me something, I would keep bugging him because I need to see that thing through.
yeah,
Not knowing,
Right.
right? I'm 6, 7 years old, but not knowing how much promises mean something,
yeah,
and how much a man's word
yeah. The word
is really where the integrity lies.
Yeah.
Is can I trust what you tell me?
yeah,
Which is kind of like what we've kind of navigated recently of just like me breaking your trust because of the choices that I made. And now I'm sitting here having a conversation with myself like, okay, moving forward, am I going to work towards making my word mean something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it's got to mean something because it's all a man has
Yeah.
yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day, And so I just, I guess all in all, I just appreciated that response
Mhm.
because I think